This video was recorded in front of a live virtual audience. Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to the Fashion Bunker. Today we're going to be reviewing the YVES Saint Laurent, or actually we have to call it just Saint Laurent Fall Winter 2021 collection. Runway, you could call it a runway, a natural runway. But before we get to it, if you like my content but haven't already subscribed, now is your chance to push that subscription button and subscribe today. You can also push the join button next to the subscription button and become a member today, gain access to extra perks. You can also join me on Patreon, superdacob all spelled together there as well for extra perks. And thank you to all my members and patrons who have already pledged. More on the perks towards the end of the video. Thank you also to all my co-reviewers in the chat section to my side here, because this video is being filmed live in front of a virtual audience. So we're all going to experience together the magic of virtual fashion shows. Well, let's see. Let's get to it. Fall Winter 2021, Saint Laurent. I've said this before, and I'm gonna say it again. It feels like season 3 of The Mandalorian. It's very Star Wars. Now, at first I thought they're really in this natural landscape. They might be, but it also at times when they use the drones and when all these kind of weird poses and positions of the camera, at times it also feels like we're not really in that landscape, but we're using the same type of technology that they use for The Mandalorian, with the filming on all sides. So probably it was shot in a real landscape, but because of the perfection of the lighting, I almost in some cases think, okay, no, this was shot in a studio. Just they use the same technique as they did for The Mandalorian. But then I thought, Saint Laurent doesn't have that kind of budget. So maybe it was cheaper for them to fly out these models into the cold and let them freeze to death rather than actually set up a studio situation for them. But let's get to the clothes. So we are in the Star Wars landscape where models are wearing clothes reminiscent of Chanel from the 70s. Oh, hold on. We're not in a Chanel fashion show. We're in a Saint Laurent fashion show. Mind you, this video is being shown to you, taken from the Saint Laurent own YouTube page. So it does fall under the community guidelines for fair use. However, I did not use their music, which was well, not composed really for the show, but they took pride and effort in their music. For whoever made the music, I forgot now. I changed the music. We're using copyright-free music for the occasion. So anyway, a lot of these garments, I mean, look at that necklace. It's a Chanel necklace if I ever saw one. That Byzantine cross, come on, nipple. So you see, movements like these make me kind of, yeah, sure, a drone can do it, but it also feels very studio-like. But anyway. So these furry hats, that is very Saint Laurent. This floral arrangement, I find them very cheap looking. They should have really, these whole colliers with these kind of flowers or plants, you could have just taken them away. Unnecessary. It kind of cheapens the look. However, Saint Laurent returns to tweed. You see this kind of flip of camera, oh, the editing. But it's beautiful to fly together with them, but kind of cheap too. This sort of golden brocade kind of workmanship, that is very 70s, and I'm living for it. It's also very Saint Laurent, even though it's also quite Chanel-esque. Little bug flying around. Little Yves Saint Laurent came back in spirit. Beautiful landscapes, it's just almost hard to believe that we're really there because it's just so majestic to see. However, try to visualize extrapolating these models dressed that way out of this context of this gorgeous natural habitat and just look at the clothes for what they are. There's not much there. It's the pathos, it's the drama that's behind this walking in the wind, not caring about the fact that everything is freezing around them. They're still with their shorts, That's the dramatic zhuzh effect here. But if we take it all out of that context and we just analyze the garments for what they are, sure, they're cute. Yeah, nice colors. Yeah, typical Saint Laurent that already Hedi Slimane really did, all skinny people. But what is new here? Does fashion have to be new? No. but they're trying to offer us something new through the visuals. And I'm like, well, but I'm not buying the glacier. I'm not buying that landscape if I consider buying this leotard, this jacket. I'm not going to get the whole setup together with it. So the jacket has to live on its own when I purchase it. Now, granted, for those of you who are Chanel fans, but don't got a budget for Chanel, but have a budget for Saint Laurent, because Saint Laurent does cost less than Chanel, you could get Chanel looking jackets and pieces next season from Saint Laurent for the Saint Laurent prices though. Is it sketchy and shady? Yeah, thank you for subscribing, Tino. By the way, is it sketchy and shady? Oh, and Super King, thanks for subscribing. It is sketchy and shady in a way, because it does look Coco-esque. It also has definitely still a direct line in DNA going to Saint Laurent, because this is also very much Yves Saint Laurent. Now we're at the other landscape. We've just kind of flown and had a crossfade type of situation into this mossy terrain. And you see the tweed jacket. This could have been a 70s Chanel as well. The belt is very Chanel. So is the necklace. I mean, there's no beating around the bush about that. However, I have to say, the minimalism of it all, of course, Coco would have never done short skirts like that. So that's kind of the modern twist. Now, do I... This, you might be surprised at what I'm going to tell you, but I do believe that this would have been a more interesting, it needs better accessories, obviously, it needs to be styled a bit better, but this could have been a much more interesting Chanel haute couture, pret-à-porter collection fall winter 21 than the actual one we've seen from Virginie Viard. And that's kind of a weird thing to say, isn't it? But this to me is more interesting for Chanel than for Chanel Fall Winter 21 than actual Chanel Fall Winter 21 is. So we've seen this exact coat at Chanel, by the way. This exact one, it just had pockets on top of it, but the same cut. I don't know if this is real fur. Chanel had the faux fur. That ombre mini skirt, Chanel used it in Métier d'Art just a season ago. So, you know, I'm like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Are we trying? We're not even trying to copy Chanel. I think the designer is trying to tell Chanel, hey, I'm ready to leave Yves Saint Laurent, hire me. I could do Chanel for you guys. This is kind of, to me, this is what a designer does. Like, here, I got an opportunity. I'm going to do this collection at Yves Saint Laurent and I'm going to send it to Chanel just to show them what I can do. Like, this is very clever. You're using your position at Saint Laurent to show to Chanel that you want to go to them. Not into those earrings. Plus they get stuck into everything because those little crystals attached everywhere, just, you know, they would get stuck to the hair, to the fur. This is something very Saint Laurent. I mean, that bag, the matelassé quilting on the Yves Saint Laurent bag, that is so Chanel. Can I get any more Chanel than that? Yeah, I hate that floral necklace. That just cheapens it all up. But yeah, of course, look at this. I mean, with the boots, those contrasts, the oversized boots and everything else is miniaturized. Really, really cool. Doesn't get more Chanel than this with the bow and I mean, the Pilot Tux kind of suit jacket that is very Saint Laurent, but also very Chanel, you guys. Very, very 60s and 70s Chanel. This rock and roll chic and that type of two-tone slings. What are we talking about here? Like, literally, what are we talking about here? It's like resurrecting Carl. Carl and Coco resurrected. I mean, in that respect, I'm liking this, but it's just a pity that the logo is YSL and not CC. That's all. That's all. And, you know, costume jewelry can be better. Those necklaces, why are they pushing those necklaces everywhere? They're so poorly done. This is a beautiful piece. This one as well. These evening... you want to call them evening red carpet dresses. They're more like evening swimsuits, which is to die for. Okay, of course you got to have the Barbie body, but just conceptually speaking, look at this jacket with the 4 pockets. The landscape is divine. It's divine, but then again, it looks very CGI to me. And if it's not CGI, kudos to them, because this looks beautiful. Okay, the setting is just to die for. Oh, I mean, she's so alien-esque. She is a beautiful. This model, ooh, gives me goosebumps. Gorgeous, gorgeous. So it does have that rock and roll chic vibe that also Hedi Slimane used to do a lot for, you know, Yves Saint Laurent, and it's still there. So that it does have that Saint Laurent kind of signature that Hedi brought to it, with the hairdos as well. But when we observe the overall composition of the styling, you know, we got a little bit of the 70s, we got a little bit of the 60s. This is very 60s, by the way, this little piece with the skimpy little shorts. Also very 60s. And also very Chanel. Now, the hats are very Saint Laurent. So all of these fur hats rounded up like that, that's very Saint Laurent, but also very Dior, early 80s. Everything else, ooh, look at that. The jacquard and the brocade on the jacket, really beautiful with gold. I'm repeating myself, but I mean, what can I do? You keep showing me Chanel pieces. What am I supposed to tell you? Okay, this is not a Chanel piece. This here is the only piece where I would say, for the first time, we're looking at something. There's an evolution there. This could be 2000s kids ravers blended in with interesting, intricate workmanship from the early 70s, late 60s. There's like a combination of times blending and merging there, which is very fascinating and new-ish, okay? Newish. That necklace gots to go. That floral necklace. No matter what show she walks for, she looks like she's gonna kill a bitch. Like I'm gonna cut a bitch. I'm angry, I'm a zombie, I'm a kill a zombie. She has the same look for every show she runs in. We're growing a little bit tired of y'alls with that look. I mean, they're always the same models. They've all been for Chanel and now they're for Yves Saint Laurent. So the two tones, but they have that cut. They're a little bit more Elvira-esque. Still, it looks good, you know, don't get me wrong. It looks good. It's just that I'm questioning, did we need this? You know, of all the things you could have offered us for fall winter 21, oh, this breast holders are so fast. They look so delicate how they like hold the breast and then the flower on the nipple. I kind of like that. It's almost like a Bjork outfit. Like Matthew Barney made it for Bjork for one of her album cover records or songs. Yeah, no, that necklace. Everything else really beautiful. The oversized boots with the little mini, you know, it's a little balloon dress. This could have been also a Balenciaga piece. I don't mind this as a conceptual fashion statement piece, but again, we've seen all of this. So what's the need in 2021? We're surviving through the lockdown, pandemic, the this and the that and everything. And you're giving us these apocalyptic landscapes, and okay, fine, they relate to 2021. But what is this? You're closing the show with that piece. Like, what are you telling us? What does this mean? Why do we need this now of all times? Why this collection? Why now? Why so unoriginal? Loving the landscapes though. Anyway, so what are your thoughts, you guys? Yeah, the cropped top is very reminiscent of the lame style Eve used to propose back in the 1980s and 90s, says MK. Debbie asks, what breasts with the little floral arrangement? Steven says, no plus size? No, they're not playing it politically correct in this show. That floral necklace gots to go. Yeah, I know. It gots to go yesterday. Minus size only. Yeah, Jesus. Letty says, it disappoints me that many luxury brands are just taking ideas from somewhere else, but the real DNA of the house doesn't show, and I see no innovation, lack of creativity despite the landscapes. I'm telling you, sure, we do have, like MK says, the lame that is also very Yves Saint Laurent, but how are we gonna... What sort of new modern shapes are we gonna... What evolution do we see here? I don't see an evolution. Isaac says there are backstage pictures in those models' Instagram that prove that it wasn't a studio. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Isaac. So it was really shot in that landscape. Then I gotta tell you, the most innovative thing about that fashion show was the beautiful way that it was shot. So now that we have proof that it was shot in real landscapes, how gorgeous was it to fly all of them out there, to fly the entire collection in the middle of nowhere and have them just walk and freeze to death, half naked, but like still like looking effortlessly chic walking down these glaciers. That is the beauty of this collection. Okay, the fact, you know, the woman surviving in primordial natural habitats, but not with those clothes and not with that floral necklace. Drac says, hot as F-U-C-K. Daniel says, she once said of Eve, who's she? We don't know. Okay, we're going to probably comment it before, but anyway, she once said of Eve, I like that boy. Coco. Coco said of Yves Saint Laurent, I like that boy. The more he copies me, the more I like him. Sometimes Coco was trolled for just telling the truth, though Yves did find his own path eventually. Yves did, but this was not Yves designing. Yves has passed away. MK says, remember the 1969 Yves Saint Laurent interview, IDMU Dacob? Yes, Coco's statement was a premonition at the time. YSL has been successful because he's been copying me. Again, Yves is gone. This is somebody else for Yves. And I don't think that I would still prefer to buy a 60s Chanel suit or ensemble vintage, even if used and torn a little bit. I would still prefer to get that than this modern take on that today. Yeah. And that says a lot. You know, that already says a lot. Jesus says, oh my God, that YSL opium dangling thing on the hat. Yeah, gorgeous, right? It's the best collection for ages, says Drac. Drac is hypnotized by the collection. Jesus says, some of the pieces are quite nice. A lot of the pieces are really nice, but this, we're not here, you know what I mean? I'm not here to review it and say, this is nice. Yeah, it's nice, but what context do we give it? You know, where does it come from? Where does the inspiration come from? What is the meaning? What is the fashion historical meaning of this thing? Like, where does it take us? Where is it coming from? Where does it lead us to? You don't have to ask these questions. You can enjoy fashion for just the mere ephemeral moment that it delivers. Totally legit. You can do that. That's also fine. But to me, I'm always like, okay, it's not enough to say, oh, I really like this. Why do I like this? What does it really tell me? Farrah Fawcett bathing suit. We love Farrah Fawcett. We love Farrah Fawcett hairspray too. Very Chanel, says Drac. Yes, Chanel, very much. MK says maybe Anthony and Virginie, Anthony Vaccarello, did follow the same cahier de tendance for next fall winter. They totally did. They totally did. The accessories don't really go with the clothes, says Jesus. Yeah, that flower gots to go. Drac says, I'm loving this, not gonna lie. Jack says, the only thing I buy from Yves Saint Laurent is the Wyatt boots, which are really cool. This is all green screen, mama. And it's not, Jesus. Apparently, Isaac tells us it's not. I'm here for the earrings. I'm here for the necklace, for the Chanel Byzantine necklace, which is probably going to be much cheaper than the actual Chanel version of it would be. Drac, it would be radical as a Chanel show. Yeah, that's what I meant. If this were labeled Chanel, I would be like, oh, this is an interesting take for Chanel with the fur and the this and the that, which Chanel doesn't want to do as much anymore. But yeah. Anne-Louis says, Saint Laurent is always the accessories for me, but like maybe just one or two things in the whole collections. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Although, not gonna lie, some of those tweed jackets, as I said, oh, the red one though, I wish they made them for guys as well, because that one looks really, really gorgeous. But however, I would be wearing it and all the time thinking like I'm wearing a Chanel replica. I would feel a little bit uncomfortable because people knowing that I also love Chanel would be like, oh, you got a Chanel jacket? No, I didn't. I got an Yves Saint Laurent jacket. And they would be like, why would you do that? And this is exactly my point. Why would you do that? If you want a Chanel jacket, get it from Chanel. You don't got the budget for Chanel? Get a vintage one. They're much cheaper. Like, if you want an Yves Saint Laurent jacket, you don't buy an Yves Saint Laurent replica of a Chanel jacket. Yes, this should have been a Chanel collection, says Jesus. Yeah, it should have been Chanel. Imagine these, okay, the same collection again. The models have Chanel bags with them. That already makes it completely Chanel. Add a lot of pearls a lot of pearl necklaces to it. Bam, you got Chanel. And then those little floral arrangements gots to go. You take those away and then you put something else, better chokers. You do a little twist you do the pearl choker, the 5-row. I would give them 5 or 6 rows of pearl chokers, very tight. Could you imagine that, like completely tight like that? And then those like tight little, you know, the little leotard, and then you have those little, you know, tweed jackets, and they're all like skinny walking down. And the pointy 2-tone shoe, they could stay the same because that was very Chanel as well. Like that's a very provocative Chanel version. Oh, the Chanel collection for fall winter 21. So again, I repeat, I don't want to buy an Yves Saint Laurent piece that people are then going to ask me like, oh, did you go to Chanel? And then you're like, no, I couldn't afford the Chanel price. So I went to Yves Saint Laurent. It's so bizarre, as if Saint Laurent was cheap. Saint Laurent is also super expensive, but it kind of turns into that like, coulda, woulda, but you know, shoulda, but didn't coulda. Wanted-a and shoulda, but didn't coulda. You know what I mean? And that moment that's the cringe moment here. And that's why this collection to me is like such a shame, you know, such a shame, because it would have been cool for Chanel. Colors, yes, Drac, I agree with you. I love the colors as well. Beautiful saturated colors. Luke says, I like some of the clothing pieces, but I don't see the connection between the outfits and landscape. I don't either. It was just meant to, again, the landscape is there to help sell the collection. The landscape is there to be like, hey, we can't show fashion shows in front of live audiences because of the lockdown and the situation and everything. So let's just deliver the greatest, craziest look we can in nature. And that's what they did. And it's all fine, good and fine. But I'm like, I want more Saint Laurent from a Saint Laurent show. It's giving Patti Bravo in the 70s looks as Jesus. Candy Fluff, some of these skirts look like club wear. Very much disco era meets ravers. Tweed pants are great. Yeah. It doesn't look like a natural setting to me. Green screen, everybody, but it's not. Isaac says it's not. So I could have sworn it was green screen, but I stand corrected. It's better than Hedi Sliman. I detested his clobber. It was clothes, not fashion, says Drac. Rara says, yeah, I'm distracted. Love me some Ansel Adams type landscapes. Anya says, did I spot a remake of the furry jacket from the Scandal collection of 74 only in brown instead of green? Well, what we did see... Really? I would have to check that out. I didn't see that. This is really beautiful looking, says Rara. On the Chanel Chewbacca boots, says MK. Yeah, see the look on the Chewbacca, but because Chewbacca boots we got from Virginie Viard, we got the Chewbacca boots for fall winter 21. Yes, Chanel Chewbacca boots for fall winter 21. Steven says some of them would not be able to give birth. Oh my God, you guys. Nothing new, but not a choice because they're too skinny. Drax says the boots are vile. Steven says skinny AF. Why am I not hating this, says Jesus? Because you're liking the music that we chose for you and the landscapes. And it is a really beautiful, relaxing, flowing, slow motion of the movement of the models. The camera is panning slowly. Don't ever underestimate all of those elements. Cinematography, the camera movement in general, the editing, the slow motion of it all, the music that, you know, I added instead of the music that they used. But anyway, all of that together, it's a soothing, calming, relaxing scenario because that's the way it was shot. Although at the same time, they are delivering a very scary, dystopian, it's a really dystopian type of landscape these models are in. They're walking in a world without civilization, and they're the only people left. It's only like a world of only women left, and they're all dressed for the night. They're dressed for the nines, but there's nowhere to go. There's nothing to experience, and they're walking like robots at the same distance from each other. They're literally walking in this row, like walking through all these landscapes from one type of landscape to the next. And they keep walking and going somewhere, but there's no end to this. There's no destination. They never arrive to one spot. They're lost in this landscape, and it's a very poetic and dystopian vision of not mankind, in this case, womankind, And so it is alluring to look at. It's very artistic. But that's why I said at the beginning of the show, I said, you guys try to extrapolate these clothes out of that context and try, I know it's not easy, but try to imagine them not in that beautiful landscape, without the slow motion, without the wind blowing, without all of that, without the music, and just look at these clothes in a store where they're going to end up hanging in a couple of months, and then try to think, oh, would I wear this? Or how does this look now? And that's where I think there's an issue. But I do believe to have all of those beautiful colors and all of those tweeds, that Saint Laurent is now going back to tweeds, to have them hanging in all those saturated colors in one boutique, it is going to look beautiful in the boutiques. Just to have those flashes of tweed, of colored tweed all in a row, that will look beautiful, merchandising wise. But as single individual pieces, Daniel says those models must be so cold. Isaac says, I would love you to react to Paco Rabanne's show. So much beauty there. The hypothermia of it all, says Madame. Benjamin says, I like that this was a departure from the cartoony crap that is everywhere. Actual beautiful pieces without irony. Do you think that's a direction fashion needs to go in? A little bit less irony. I agree with you, Benjamin. I agree with this statement. I would also like it a bit more, and I know this is going to sound terrible to say, but conservative. By conservative, I don't mean the jacket and tie. I just mean a little bit more honest. Just take it as it is without all the phlegm. You know, we're tired of that. I think we've come to a point in fashion where right now we need a break. We need reality. We need hyper reality. We don't need the gamer reality. We don't need the Matrix. By the way, the new Matrix has been shot, edited, ready to come out, Matrix number 4. We don't need that yet. Okay, there's going to be a Matrix craze when they decide to release it finally. But right now, we don't need all of that. What we need now is rawness, the rawness of real. Oof, let me write that down. Yeah, what we need now is the rawness of real. What we need now is the rawness of real. Okay, so can you review Yves Saint Laurent last collection before he stopped? Or before he retired? Maybe. Letty says, the clothes get lost in the new way fashion shows are produced nowadays. I remember when it was all about the clothes, but now it's about the show's production and imagery, in my humble opinion. MK says, don't search too far, Dacob. The collection's message just meant spend all your remaining bucks on me. Jam says, are you a fan of Givenchy's work? Hubert de Givenchy's work? Yes. Not a fan of what Givenchy, the brand, is doing today. Track says, YSL have been making replicas since Liman. Isaac says, I would love an Yves Saint Laurent for H&M collaboration. That only way I could afford something rocker chic stuff. Oh my gosh. Louis says, you can go to the Saint Laurent outlets to get Chanel. Ooh, the shade. True, Yves Saint Laurent does have outlets. The collection, if it's any good, should speak for itself. Letty says, but now they're drowning in the context of the show. So MK says, Dacob, I agree their attires look beautiful on display in boutique. The price range is getting closer to Chanel's, but I would personally not spend that much on Saint Laurent. Jack says, okay, Ode Elon Musk. Oh my God. Lord says, sorry, I'm nodding. See you next week. Many thanks. Oh, thank you. Jesus says, oh my God, we have an ape together. I don't know what that means. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in, for co-reviewing the show with me. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below about this collection, about the Saint Laurent Fall-Winter 2021 collection, with or without its landscapes. Analyze it however you prefer. To us, or to me or to us in the fashion bunker, it has a certain meaning. To you, it might have a totally different meaning. But it's good to know, good to share opinions. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and thumb up this video if you've liked it, and subscribe to my channel here on YouTube. You can also push the join button next to the subscription button and become a member today. By joining the Fashion Bunker, you get access to extra perks. You can also join me on Patreon, superdacob all spelled together there as well. Join me on Patreon to get access to extra perks. Amongst the many perks is being listed here in the scrolling bar, the credit roll, the end titles of every video in the Fashion Bunker, and I do post a video a day as a co-producer of the Fashion Bunker. So thank you to all my patrons and members who have already pledged, and thank you to all my co-chatters in the live section on my sidebar here as well. Other perks that you get, videos that never come to YouTube but just stay exclusive to tier 2 members as well as Patreon. Reductions on merch, special prices for that, and entire reruns of live streams. This is just some of the perks that you get. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. Oh, follow me also on Instagram, superdacob all spelled together, on my Chanel dedicated Instagram profile. Coco Chanel is in my house, all spelled together, dedicated to my Chanel collection. And my other Instagram profile, Coco Chanel Privé, all spelled together, dedicated to the life of Coco Chanel. Now I have definitely plugged every single social media platform that I'm on for you guys. I hope you get to follow me. We get to interact over there as well. What can I tell you? The memory of all of these designers that have created these fashion houses lives on, whether we kind of agree with the fact that certain collections look more or less like the original collections used to look like when the original designers were still alive. All of these brands are probably going to outlive us all. So no matter what we say, it's just an opinion. Until next time, never forget to never give up on love. Love you all. See you soon. Take care. Bye. Mwah.